to pick a pricing metric that actually works, there are sort of 4 criteria here. The first is that you should actually be able to measure this. There are 6 key components to a SaaS pricing model, and in order for it to actually be a model that you can execute and use to price something. The first of the 6 is the pricing metric. So a pricing metric is simply the unit you charge by. So this could, for example, be price per user, or price per API call, or price per active store. Anything, really. So the flat fee simply is a monometric, meaning that you're just charging for the account relationship, right? So you're saying, well, you are a customer and it starts by you paying me X, $1,000 per year. And then we are going to count the thing, the users, the API calls, and so forth. After, then you have 2 metrics, you have a flat metric, and then you have users. And so that's it. That says you need something to count, whether it's the customer itself or one of their volumes in some way. And to pick a pricing metric that actually works, there are sort of 4 criteria here. The first is that you should actually be able to measure this. That means that you should be able to operationally measure it, you should be able to legally measure it, and so forth, right? So if you're measuring your customers, whatever, satisfaction with the product, how the hell would you measure that, right? Or I've seen people trying to measure, money saved on training staff because the software would help train staff, right? But you're working with like scenarios of what would it have cost if we didn't have the software and so forth. So you're going to get into a lot of arguments. So it's not measurable. Then the second point is that it should be in demand, meaning that, and this is sort of a scale from like, they're just going to consider it a cost straight up. So say, okay, fair enough, I'll pay for it, as opposed to, let's say you're selling them new leads or sales or money itself, right? So if your software generates business for them in some way, and you just say, hey, for every $1 million of profit you make, I'm going to charge you, 100,000. Then you can bet yourself that they're not going to limit how many they buy, right? They just want to say, well, as much profit as you can sell me, I'll want to buy it, right? So somewhere there is a scale where something is in demand. They want it in and of itself, rather than as an input in order to get something else. I have a lot of other videos of how to choose pricing metrics. So if you want to deep dive on this particular point, I'm sure you can find something on my channel somewhere. Okay, third point here is that it's considered fair, meaning that, you're going to, let's say, charge per user, you can measure it, and the customer thinks, well, that's fair. We actually have users generate value through your solution. I'm used to paying per user. It's a very common thing. I think it's okay, right? So they're allowing you to price it in this way, as opposed to, let's say, you have some sort of an AI software, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to charge you a percentage of your revenue. And though that might be what you're helping them do, generate more revenue, and they would want more revenue and all these things, your customer might not consider it fair. They might say, well, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. Revenue is really ours. We think, we're also doing a lot with the revenue. And so it's not just your software, and we're not comfortable with it. We can't predict it, whatever, right? They just don't like it. So it's not fair, doesn't work. Finally, density. Density is the point where the unit you charge by per user, per API call, per whatever patient in your hospital software is uniform, meaning that every unit has the same value as the other unit. So when Stripe charges you, 3%, 2.95% per dollar that you process through their payment processor, then the dollar is the unit. And a dollar is a perfectly dense unit, meaning that $1 is worth just as much as the other dollar, right? But let's say that you have another software where you have a organization-wide training thing, and some users are like the heavy admin users in HR, and other users are like very casual, like they log in once a year and like check a box, something, right? Then you're going to have the situation where the customer's like, well, these users over here, like, I get why I would want to pay for them. That's fine. Like, they're like generating tons of value for me, But these users over here, even though they technically have a login, they're not really bringing a lot of value. So maybe, I want a discount or something, right? So the unit isn't very dense because one user is worth a lot more than another. And that's going to give you a lot of problems. So walk through these four: measurability, value or demand, fairness, and density. And just consider them when choosing your metric. Okay, that's step 1 out of 6. Hey there, so I create these videos for free so that you can take your great SaaS product and turn it into a great SaaS business. So if you like the video and you got value from it, you should of course subscribe to the channel and also tell a friend. So write someone and say, hey, you're in SaaS, this guy talks about SaaS, maybe there's something in there for you.